Alright, welcome everybody. Keeper does Let's Play Graveyard Keeper Episode 9. Last time I told you I was going to do some grinding, and I ended up doing some grinding. And in this game, grinding means, uh, getting rocks and getting trees and doing whole bunches of crazy stuff until you're basically settled. I haven't done any quests. I haven't increased, that portion of the story at all. I haven't talked to anybody. So this is just me running around, getting resources, and putting it into stuff. So I'm going to run you through the different stuff that we've got. You're going to see most of this here. I unlocked quite a bit of technology. I was able to do the... this has been about 3 weeks worth of in-game time. So I've had 3 Sundays, basically, because we stopped on the Sunday. So this is my 3rd Sunday. And I've upgraded pretty much everything to what I would consider the end of the early game stuff. So this is just you running around. You don't need to talk to anybody. You don't really care about what you're doing. You're just trying to get stuff. So that's kind of what I would consider the end of the early game. And then once you get into the quests, like we're about to do, that's where all the meat of the story happens. That's where you unlock some really cool stuff. And that's what I'm going to show you now. So as we go, I'll show you the new stuff. So let me do this first since it's night. I finally got 5 faith. I actually got 7 faith in this last one because I upgraded the church a little bit. And I want to talk to Snake and get his stuff started because once Snake stuff is in process, you get access to the zombies. And that's going to be important. So he gives me the instructions. Those are the instructions for the key that I got from the astrologer before. So I left the astrologer here. I'm gonna study the key. I think I need... Where's my key at? There it is. Ha! I have just enough faith. That's awesome. There it goes. And I got a new key and a little bit of stuff. So I guess you need 7 faith in order to do this portion of the thing, which is good. Got a story, a copper story. This is kind of funny. I'm not controlling this, by the way. This is just happening. 1,000 life. I always love that little... He's like, damn you, world, for killing me. So at this point, I haven't died yet. So that's the first time that you die. Obviously, you can die before then, but this is a portion of kind of helps to try and explain why you can't die. You're such a useless idiot, and yet you're immortal. A bucket of blood and 5 bloody nails. Gunther. Hit me with your sword a couple of times. Okay. Resurrection Table Blueprint. Buried under the rocks along the path to the forest. So there you go. So that's the zombie stuff. Zombie juice. Awesome sauce. So if you don't have the DLC for this, you can still see Gunther, but you won't actually be able to interact with him. So it's something you can get to anytime. It doesn't like break the game or anything. So that's going to be a big portion of stuff. I don't think there's anything in here of note otherwise. I do need that diary though. I don't think this will kill me. There we go. Ta-da! Keeper's Diary. So that'll be for the astrologer quest. This is the portion that needs all those skulls. I told you a while ago that you need to have a bunch of skulls for stuff. This is why you need those skulls. You need a ton of them. It's like 50 or something. I don't remember what it is, but it's a ton of them. That and blood. So it's just for this Snake's Quests line requires a bunch of them. So just hold on to them. You don't need to do anything right away. The bucket of blood and the bloody nails. The bloody nails you get from creatures in the dungeon, which we'll go into later. And the bucket of blood I think you can actually make. But I can't get him to do anything yet. This is an easy way to get. I think you have to get the town. Well, no, you can get both of them from him. But it's just so much easier to get stuff from him than buy it, because it's super expensive to buy one of those stamps or whatever. Okay, so now that's done. We'll work on zombies later, but I wanted to run you through the stuff that I did while you were away. So first of all, this is technically called the cellar, but it's basically the wine cellar. There's a better term for it, but this is where you're going to put all of your distilleries and your winemaking stuff, and your this is a vine press. So you press apples and berries and grapes into juice. And then you can use the juice in these barrels to make wine, and then you can use hops and wheat in the beer, in the brewing stand to make beer. And beer's great for early stamina. Eventually, you use basically wine only. And there's a couple of really cool things that you can get that are just for zombies later on that'll help this efficiency significantly, but you don't have to worry about that for now, obviously. Okay, so laboratory. This we had our study station, or a study desk. I think we might have had the alchemy workbench, but I'll just run you through my rough idea of what's going on. So the alchemy workbench is where you put two things together in order to make a potion, and I don't have any recipes yet, so I could just randomly put stuff together. Blood, and I'm gonna take a guess. Oh, I can't do anything. Hold on. Life solution? Let's try that. I don't know what this is. Ash goo. So I messed up. So that's bad stuff. But it's not, whatever. Once you get recipes, you'll remember it, and you won't have to put them in one at a time. You can make them a lot faster. But you got to do it once first for it to work. So this is a base level alchemy workbench that uses 2 ingredients. Eventually you get a alchemy workbench level 2 that has 3 ingredients, which allows you to make the more complex stuff. This is an alchemy mill. I don't have anything right now that we can mill, but this stuff turns things into powders. This hand mixer turns stuff into solutions, is what they call them. They're like the liquid version of stuff. And then these distillation cubes turn things into extracts. So what I like to do is I've got 3 of these. They're alchemy racks, but you just put stuff in them basically. And I like to put all the solutions and the blood in one rack, and then I like to put all the powder stuff, the more solid things, into another rack, and then the extracts into another rack. You will have a lot of these, so it's important to have enough space to be able to put everything where you want it. The distillation cubes are kind of like forges. They're kind of like furnaces. So you put something in, and it'll just work by itself. Over time, it'll pop it out whenever it's done. So I have 2 of those there because they're limited by the amount of time that it takes to make them. The hand mixer and the grinder over here, those you work on manually, so you can pump a bunch of things out really fast. We had our workbench before. We didn't have access to all of this stuff though, so I invested in some technologies related to books and papers and writing. So now we can make our own. I think we can make our own stories, and we can make our own books. We can make our own hardcovers for the books, and then this is where you make the injections. What do they call those? Embalmings. So this is where you make the embalming liquids, and you're going to use a lot of those once you start maxing out your bodies. And we'll get into that a little bit later, but this is like the lowest level embalming stuff. As you can see from the tech tree, there's 3 levels of embalming, and I basically only use the top level of embalming stuff. Well, no, that's not true. You use levels 1 and 2, because you can use all 3 of these theoretically, but you don't gain a lot from the first ones if you use 2 and 3, so it's kind of a complicated thing. Anyway, those are more complex because you have to have these special potions. So you need an alkali potion in order to make, like this one in particular. The potions get more complex. The ingredients required for those potions get more complex. Then you have to make a bunch of them. So it's just a whole bunch of nonsense. Also, I started getting some fertilizer. So this is another thing where you start with your peat and you make it better. They have 2 different kinds of fertilizer. The peat does the copper version of time and quality. So you've got this little hourglass, and then this one's a star. So the better the hourglass, the faster it gets done. The better the star, the higher quality product, and the more seeds you get from it. Hey, look, we can make buckets of blood. But the point, I basically only use the quality fertilizer. The time thing is nice, but it's not very required for what you're doing. Like I said, once you get to the point where you're making money from crops, you're making a ton of it, and it's not necessarily worth it to make the extra fertilizer, the boost fertilizer. Anyway, so that's where all that is. You can also make candles here, which I don't do a lot of because they don't give you a bunch of a bonus until at the end of it, but it's fine. We had a desk before. We weren't able to make like our stories, but we can make stories now. These little items with the arrows underneath them mean that you can do different things depending on what you put into them. So if I had any faith, I'd be able to make... Anyway. You've got 2 perks for writing. You've got a writer and a playwright perk. And if you get both of those, then it makes what you're making a lot better. So the story by default is going to be used basic paper and a bunch of faith and some pen and ink, and you can make the pen and ink and the paper obviously, and the faith is just, at this point, it's just not worth making a story. But the point of it is that you've got without the playwright and the writer perks, because I've got the writer perk, which gives me a plus. Can you see this thing? You got a 0.3 bonus to my star rating, and then you start out with a 0.7 bonus. So this basically means that I'm going to have a 100% chance of getting a functioning copper star story. And if I had the playwright, I think the playwright maybe boosts it another 0.5 or something. So then I'd have an extra 0.5% chance of getting a silver story out of this. And there are better ways to do this. But for like your books and stuff, if you put in a better cover, then it increases your chances of getting a better book. And if you put in better chapters, which are compilations of stories, you get a better chance. And then books use this special perk called Best Friend, Jeweler, yeah, which is really weird because it has nothing to do with books, but anyway. And then I put a bookshelf here, a scroll shelf, which I put all my paper-related items into. So that's the update for this. I'll take you into the church real quick. I didn't do a ton into the church because you can't yet until you get the bigger church. I did put in the candlesticks and the confessionals. The confessionals are pretty cool because occasionally when you come in here, there will be a story and faith. Basically, a person came in and confessed. They used the confessional, so you get bonus stuff out of it. But the last time I did a regular sermon, I ended up getting about 7 faith and about 1.18 silver in the money. So that's a lot more than I was getting before. So that's all good stuff. Here in the graveyard, I didn't add any bodies. You still got the hole in the corner. But I did upgrade my... Whoops. I did upgrade my gravestone technology, so I maximized everybody's potential here. So you can see that all the skulls are maxed out to the quality possibilities. None of these went above 6, so I didn't have to do anything too complicated. Eventually we'll start getting into marble gravestones and fences, and that'll let you do 12 total quality. But right now this is just kind of what it is. Okay, so that's the graveyard. Graveyard's doing pretty good. We can actually... The graveyard's actually up to snuff now for the bishop's quest, but I didn't talk to him, so we've got that working for us. Oh yeah, the morgue. We haven't talked about the morgue yet. I need to... Oh yeah, that's right. It just goes into the thing. Okay. I'm gonna put my zombie juice in here. for later. Okay, so we had the preparation table already. What I added was the embalming table. So basically what you do is you throw a body on here, and then you put a embalming thing on it. And whatever juice you want to use in order to do whatever it is you're going to do with it. The table, the embalming process takes its own time, so you can't actively work on it. So I usually end up having 2 of these, so I can have 2 different bodies being embalmed at the same time. And realistically, in order to max out a lot of these guys, you have to have, it's like 3 or 4 different embalmings that you put into them. It's all good stuff. Once you get there, it's very reliable process, but getting there is kind of a pain. So anyway, I'll usually have 2 of these, but I don't need 2 of them right now. I'm not making that many. I put a rack up in order to store stuff. This is where I'm going to put all my embalming fluids. And then I put an extra pallet down here. This is where you put bodies. There's a bunch of different kinds of pallets that you can eventually get. There's a double pallet that I could unlock right now, but I don't want to. I don't need to. Yeah, embalming table level 2. Oh, that might be worth it. And then a double pallet. The fridge pallet. Did I already get the double pallet? Ah, that's the double pallet. Okay. Yep. So the fridge pallet is kind of cool because it cuts down even more the time it takes for the body to decompose. You'll notice in the top right hand corner, I've got a possibility of 3 bodies now. So at any given time, I could have up to 3 bodies in here because I could have 1 on this table and 1 on this table and then 1 on the pallet. So if I had any carrots in the thing for the donkey, he would keep dropping off bodies until I met that quota, and then it would stop. Because he wouldn't give me any more than the maximum amount I've got. I was able to unlock the ability, where is it? This guy, woodcutter, to be able to cut down those big trees that were so annoying to me. So I cleared out this area. You can't build anything until you get these saplings, or they're called seedlings and saplings. Those come from the swamp lady, so you got to do her quest in order to open up the opportunity to build those. I usually make a bunch of trees, maybe a handful of bushes, because bushes are pretty easy to find, but trees are a lot more complicated. I expanded the garden a little bit, not a lot, because I didn't. I only bought a handful of extra wheat seeds. I just kept planting everything else. I haven't bought any new hemp seeds. I haven't bought any new carrot seeds. So there is a perk that I got called gardening, which makes it more efficient. So you'll be able to, even with just the peat stuff, you've got a decent chance of pulling back enough seeds to be able to replant. It's not 100% because I've obviously run out of some of the seeds already. See, I can't plant any more carrot seeds. I can plant some hemp seeds though. And then I'm running out of wheat seeds too. I think I've got enough. No, I'm out. That's it. That's all I got. Oops. No, I need this. I don't know what I need it for, but I need it. Inventory management. That's what life's all about. So here eventually I will be getting some fertilizer help. Oh yeah, and this thing. Okay. Do I have anything I can store? Not really. Alright, so I upgraded all my furnaces. that was right at the end of the last episode. I was talking about furnace level 2. So I upgraded all the furnaces. I got a new furnace. You're probably noticing there's a lot of blue experience coming out of these, and I love these. I made the correct choice of guessing to get glass stuff early on, right before the end of our last session. So glass itself is just sand and water, which is super easy to get, right? These are just glass, and then these are just these. The glass, or the advanced conical flasks, are just conical flasks. So it's each one of these goes into the other one. The point is that glass or conical flasks and advanced conical flasks give you blue points of experience. So I just made a ton of glass, and then I just keep feeding this stuff into these, and then I've got a somewhat steady stream of blue experience, which is wonderful, because right now I'm kind of low on other stuff. So I did that. I added a stonecutter level 2 over here. Apparently you cannot upgrade a stonecutter level 1 to a stonecutter level 2, which is fine, I don't care. I upgraded my anvil to an anvil level 2, which required steel, and steel requires you to have access to graphite. So some of these technology trees don't exactly line up with each other. You have to find other stuff on another tree in order to be able to use the thing that you just unlocked. But it was fine. It's not terribly complicated. And graphite is just coal in a furnace. So it's super easy. I got one more set of coal from the coal mine, and not a big deal. Pretty easy stuff. So that was good. It also allowed me, once I got steel and the anvil 2, it allowed me to upgrade all of my tools. So I've got an axe level 2, I've got a pickaxe, a shovel, an iron hammer instead of my rusty hammer, and then I've got a sword instead of my rusty sword. So all really cool stuff. I think I added a trunk or two, maybe while you guys were gone too. That's about it though. I put in the meditation thing just because I wanted to. I can show you what that is. So you do get a little bit of stamina back. It's not as efficient as your bed, but the point of the meditation is that once you stop gaining stamina, the time is still going by. So it's really helpful for if you need to be at a certain day of doing stuff. Let's go find that zombie that guy was talking about, and on the way I'll show you the apiary. Oh, he's over here. The heck is he doing? You unlocked a new technology. Start building sawmill. Hey, I got a zombie. And this is what they look like whenever they're not doing anything. Let's take them home after I show you the apiary. So I didn't do anything except for clean up the apiary, and I unlocked or I rebuilt this thing. But if I get some bees are the hard part of making an apiary. You can buy bees. There's a bee guy in town. That's usually how I get all the bees. You can harvest them too, but it takes forever. And once you have a set apiary, it's pretty nice. You can get a bunch of free honey and a bunch of free beeswax and obviously bees, but then you just sell them because you don't need any more bees after you've created the max amount of apiaries. I don't think you don't name your zombies, but I always give my first zombie a funny name. What did I call him last time? It was something British. So the thing about zombies, I'll I'll just move this for now. Zombies are like this until you give them something to do. And then they do that thing. But they do it very slowly. So you can see that the zombie has this work efficiency number in it. And that is based on your white skulls. It does not matter how many red skulls you have with a zombie. Last I checked anyway. I'm going to have to double check that to verify. But the thing you want is a max amount of white skulls. Red skulls you don't care about. White skulls are good. The more you have, the better efficiency he is. And these are all guys because I choose for them to be guys. But, so you can do stuff to make him better. I think. So this should make him a little bit better. So you got some more, but you don't. It doesn't really change anything for a while. It takes a decent amount of skulls to change your work efficiency. But the point is that you can play with them after the fact. So as long as you've got a decent body, you don't have to worry about making them perfect right away. Let's go put him to work doing something. Alright, you work here. So you notice he's just standing there doing nothing. It's because I haven't told him anything to do. So I want you to make some wood billets. So he's just going to go and make wood billets until I tell him to stop. Well, okay, he's going to make one wood billet because that's all I told him to make. And he's a lot slower than I am, but it's free, right? There's no stamina required to do it. So if you get him to do some pretty complicated stuff, it's pretty wonderful. And the most wonderful thing about the zombies is the ability to get like your resources. So your stone and your wood, your iron ore, your coal in the mines, that kind of stuff is super handy because they just do it forever, and then whenever you come back to base from doing something else, you've got a full stash of everything. So it's pretty great. What day is it? It is just about to be Inquisitor Day. And we're just about at time. So, I'm gonna call it for now. I think I'll sort out a few things and then start back up on the next one. But yeah, zombie number 1. Fantastic.